is April 23rd, 2023. And I am going to do a reading my guides wanted me to do on Putin and the future of Russia. I'm using the Sarah Marchetti Gilded Tarot from the Easy Tarot for the reading, and in honor of Earth Day, which was yesterday, I'm going to pick a card. My guides, I should say, have picked a card from the Sacred Earth Oracle deck. That's it. Okay, so I have to always say that my timing, it's hard to get time. I think it's hard for most psychics to get accurate timing on things like wars and deaths. Most about anything. But the reason I think that is because the angels who are giving the information, they see things from a completely different perspective. So what seems like a short time for them could be experienced for us as a long time. But given that, I'll still say a timing, and we'll see if that is accurate or not. But the final outcome, I feel that has been a lot more accurate for me anyway when I ask about these kinds of things, however long it takes. So there's been, of course, this ongoing story about Putin, who in this reading is the devil. That's the card that represents him being sick. And I got, even several years ago, that he had some kind of, or was going to have some kind of a cancer that metastasized. And what my guide showed me at that time, what I saw was that it actually metastasized into his bones, and that he was just going to be in an extremely large amount of pain. So that by the end of his life, he was in agony and just had to deal day to day with this pain where he couldn't do anything else, and he was bedridden and an invalid. That's what I saw. So no, recently there's even, there's been another whole round of speculation. I was going to say even more, but I don't know if that really makes sense contextually. What I'm trying to say is that, every once in a while we get this spate of stories about him being sick, and now this new wave has cropped up, right? And the speculation is that his cancer has metastasized. He's had abdominal cancer allegedly, and then it went into potentially his prostate. But then there's these photographs that are popping up with a scar on Putin's neck, like near his thyroid. So the speculation is, did he have an operation? Does he have thyroid cancer? And he's visibly been seen as being in pain, being weak, falling, that kind of thing. And I asked for, what would be the clarification card for this? And my guides gave me judgment. And what they say is karma has caught up with him, and he is experiencing the kind of pain that, and there's no way that he can experience all the pain that he has wrought on others, but that is the karmic flavor of his illness, is that he has put forth death and destruction, torture, misery, death and starvation, chemical warfare, rape, the unimaginable on the populaces that he declares war on, and even his own people at times. And now karma has come up with him, and he is experiencing this illness that he cannot have dominion over. The devil wants dominion over everything, even death. But you can't have dominion over death in a mortal body of flesh and bone here on earth. So, and there are other karmic consequences, which is, and this is so similar. Must be one of the dominant traits of a narcissist who comes into power, even if it's as mundane as over an office or an agency or a householder. But in this case, like Trump, a country where they're going to ironically destroy everything that they try to bring into fruition. So, Trump came into power to solidify the MAGA base and also the Republican Party, but because the Republican Party could only be in his image, he has destroyed it, and he's caused its death. And Putin, it's the same for him. He came in to seek ultimate power, but because he's tried to do that, he's destroyed Russia, the economy of Russia, the government of Russia, the place that Russia held in the world, his own army. And that is just a weird fluke of the narcissist, is they will destroy what they seek to control. And they're the ones that cut off their own feet. They're the ones that bring on their own downfall, because they're so needing to control. They're so egotistical. They're so also insecure at the same time of keeping control, that they will destroy anything that will threaten that control. And there goes the infrastructure, there goes the institution, there goes the bureaucracy, whatever it is, all sacrificed for their own egos. And we see this happening with Russia. We see the economy destroyed. We see the young soldiers that have been used as cannon fodder, literally. The death amounts, so or the death tolls, we don't really know the true amount, because Russia's not going to give us that, but it is devastating. And as powerful as Putin thought Russia was, and that it would be a piece of cake to walk in there to Kiev and then in 2 to 4 days be in control, that did not happen. Now, of course, we know that part of that problem was that the timing of it, that he was just so sure that Trump would win again, and Trump was going to give him Kiev, give him Ukraine, and that didn't happen. Trump lost, and Biden took over and gathered the rest of the Western world to support Ukraine, and the rest is history. So that's such short-sighted planning. It's such egotism. Is it hubris? Is that the right word? I always wonder if I use that correctly or not. I should look it up before I use it. But just the arrogance and the short-term planning and life getting in the way. I believe that Putin, because of the painkillers he's had to be on, and what other allegedly what other medication has interfered with his reasoning anyway. And I believe he's dependent on like Hitler, on medication. But it gets in the way of his thinking, and so that adds to the disaster that is happening, that he initiated. It's unbelievable. But that is just how it is with people like Trump or Putin, with narcissistic or malignant narcissistic leaders. This is what happens, because they don't want anybody also to take their place. It's not like they're trying to set up some belief system, let's say libertarianism or MAGAism, and that is, they're so adhered to that belief system that they're going to make sure it carries on after their death, and they set up safeguards for that. No, they don't give a damn about that, really. They're just really interested in themselves as the leaders, and that's politicalization of it. It's just a smokescreen for them to just be in control, because they don't have any care about the populace. I mean, it's insane, but there are some people, I think, who believe that MAGAism really is better for their world, but people like Trump or people like Putin, no, they don't care. They're just using it to safeguard their own immortality. But even though spiritually we think of the devil as being immortal, the human is not. No. And that is judgment. Above is the hangman. So this is Russia, this is Putin. They're just trapped in this assault. And of course Putin wants to save face, so he doesn't want to give up. This was his dream. This is his legacy, and so he's trapped in it. He can't find a way to get out. And I don't know if he wants to get out. His again, I use the word ego frequently here, but his ego won't let him. How can I be wrong? This has to work. We'll do this, and this. And all the while we're still trying to interfere in our elections and get Trump back in there so he can have success. I believe that's still in his mind. Hence this ridiculous focus on Hunter's laptop, and there's no laptop. there's a hard drive that has been through many hands. It can't. It's the chain of custody. I think there's no use for it except to raise money and to create this ridiculous false narrative, which the Republicans love to create false narratives. That is their thing, right? In the past position here is the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is this is Putin putting everything in all his eggs in one basket to go forward. All the resources of Russia, all his relationships with other countries, his standing in the world, everything to invade Ukraine. It's all in. And underneath, the underneath card, Five of Swords. So this desire to rule the world, to be another Hitler, absolutely, to cause death and destruction, and that is how you achieve greatness. That is, and that was motivation, still is the motivation. I am the king of the world, and you will rue the day you try to oppose me. In the future, however, is death. And death is Putin's death, the death of Putin's regime, and the death of his plan or his attempt to take over our government, the death of everything. This is going to lead to that. So when will Putin die? Again, as I said before, really difficult to predict. They're giving me summer, like the withdrawal from Ukraine, and Putin becoming extremely sick, too sick to rule. And then there is death here very soon. And then clarifying card correspondingly is the Ten of Swords, and that is the end. That's Putin underneath those swords here. There's no coming back for him. There's no magical procedure. There's nothing he can do, really. He's at the end of his life and the end of his power. So I asked, well, what happens after that? And the guides say that this happens, the Five of Wands. So this is, it's kind of like the end of, I don't know if anybody watches Succession, but it's not the end of, it's the end of Logan's life, the patriarch of that family. That it's a very, very wealthy family, and their media family, and finally the patriarch dies, but he doesn't leave a clear idea of who's going to take over this huge empire. It's kind of based on Fox and the Murdoch family. And then because of that, this ensues. People are fighting for power here. Who's going to take over? There's various people that have been put forward, but the fear is, for any of them, if they had shown their desire to be in power, they would have been killed. There's no way that Putin would have trusted them then. They couldn't, none of them could throw their hat in. So now we have a situation where you have the oligarchs and the hawks and various people fighting to fill in the vacuum which Vladimir Putin has left. And the final result, the guides say, is an outlier. And I don't believe it's Navalny. I'm not going to 100% say that. Somebody either like Navalny, there's going to be a revolution, the Wheel of Fortune. The people of Russia are going to rise up, and because the army is so depleted and people are rebelling against the way that they've been treated and their children have been treated, and the most patriotic of them are dead from the war, then the people of Russia rise up and they put in a leader very similar to Zelensky, and this starts a new Russia. And the new Russia is a Russia that looks to the West for support, that desires to be part of Europe, to be part of the Western world. They are not wanting, like Putin before them, to have the Soviet Union revived, to get the band back together, the Soviet Union revived. So that is my reading. We'll see what happens, but I do get that Russia pulls out of Ukraine around the time that Putin dies, and Ukraine sustains its autonomy and becomes a very strong ally for the United States and a strong country for Europe. And everybody joins NATO on that side of things. I think Sweden or Finland, just one of those countries, just joined NATO, but it's going to be all in. Maybe it's Finland. But they're all going to be part of NATO, and it's going to be an amazing boost to democracy in the West. So that is my reading on Putin and the update. I am going to now read our oracle card for us from the Sacred Earth Oracle, and that's by Toni. Is that by Toni, Carmine, Salerno, and Leela J. Williams. The card that my guides chose for us is Absence. Earthly meaning. Absence makes the soul grow stronger. The absence of agenda, stress, or the desire to wear a mask is required so that you can be fully present once more. However, it is not what is present, but what is missing that needs attention. Rather than fighting what you don't want, put your energy into what you do want. But first, rest. Constant illumination brings burnout. Spiritual meaning. Meditation connects you with your inner world, where time melts into eternity and love is always present. Journey into meditation through the endless dimension of self. Gaze into the dark mirror of eternity and see the infinite light of your soul. Relax and go within each day, even if it's only for a few minutes. Dark, quiet inward journeys can be as illuminating, as bright as outward ones. Absence. Okay, that's my reading for today. I am still available for personal readings. My information is in the description box below or at the end of the musical interlude. I was so tempted, by the way, to do something on Elon Musk. Did you see the failed rocket launch? Wow. I wonder how much money went into that. It was like a 4-story building or something, and I don't think anybody was hurt. But yeah, I really wanted to do something on that. My guides preferred that I do this today. Okay, you guys, I love you. I will see you next week. You take care, and I will be back. Bye-bye.